Welcome to another episode of the Dibbly Dobblers Cricket Podcast. As always, I am your main host, Callum, and as always, I am joined by director, producer, dinner lady, shoe shiner, all-round average guy, Andrew.
Average guy. You didn't say secondary host.
Well, you need to earn that title. And after all these episodes, I've decided
You stripped me of the title.
absolutely, you're the third host on the show.
Oh, how you doing?
Not too bad. Buzzing for the cricket season starting
For you?
for me.
Yeah.
Started
Started on.
for half of Scotland, to be fair.
Yeah, indeed.
But,
it was a wet weekend this weekend, and
but,
started for me,
So,
and that's all we'll say on the matter.
I think that's for the best, to be fair. If you're interested, you can go on SPCUlive.com, check out Pradal's score in Division 1. But, so
A wee red inker from me. That's all.
I know,
that's
it's
positive.
impressive. High score ever. Andrew, 2 not out.
I'll take it. It's better than.
What is your highest score?
Oh, it's like 14.
I'm surprised it's double figures, I won't lie. I'm not going to lie on that front.
No, I've scored 14 a couple of times, I think. But
And then you get a nosebleed. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
my aim for this season with the bat is to get one score of 20 plus. That is genuinely my realistic target.
To be fair, I'm going on like I've scored thousands of runs in my career.
You got what, 150?
I think I've got one adult 50.
Yeah, so sit down.
it's not great. I should have had 2, but it was a non-neutral umpire, and they gave them leg byes despite the fact I ran it off my face and then got out on 47. So I was like, you absolute.
Devastated.
Aye.
Devastated.
So, but it'll all change. All change this year, don't you worry.
Well,
Well, here's hoping. It can't get much worse than last year, so it's all good.
yeah.
But yeah, so for those who aren't aware, Scottish cricket across the country was really quite ruined by rain.
It was, yeah. It was a very wet Saturday, and I mean, the game that I played, we played through the rain. It started to rain just before we started, and we just played through it.
You should have see about halfway through the batting innings. It's too wet, lads.
Yeah.
And that's game's about game.
Just don't feel safe facing this.
This is just unsafe.
Yeah.
I mean, I was on a sunny beach in Scarborough. It was glorious sunshine, literally on the beach. So don't know what was going on up here, but clearly I picked a good weekend to be away.
Indeed.
So yeah, but we're not interested in our Dibbly Dobbler level of cricket. We're gonna touch upon some real standard of cricket.
I mean, can you say any standard of cricket that you have played is real?
Oh,
Anyway.
harsh but fair. Come on, I'm trying to convince these people that I'm like a superstar all-rounder. You're not helping me on this. I'm a bit worried. You've lined up a graphic, Andrew, and there's a red box around it. Is that going to come across when you move it?
No, it's not. It's just because it's highlighted on the studio.
There we go.
The red
See,
box
this is why he's the director, producer. Yeah. That's what it is. Good stuff. So we're not going to go through every single game, but we had what we are going to pick is a team of the week.
Yeah, and we're going to do this every week. Is the plan.
Even got a graphic in case you
have.
hadn't figured that out.
So you'll see that in a minute when we start to discuss it.
Yep. So I mean, what did we have? Because as we discussed before, we're kind of just going to focus on EPL, but of the teams that fall into the SPCU area, and then the NEC or the North East Championship.
Yeah.
To give it its formal name.
And cup performances as well.
Yes,
so Challenge Cup and Scottish Cup as well. We'll pay attention to them too.
But no, the Village Cup.
Oh no, sorry, we will pay attention.
and the
We
Village.
absolutely will pay attention to the Village Cup because
Andrew, you just don't want me to have a life.
no, but I mean, there's literally like 3 teams playing the Village
And
Cup.
they all are from our area. I mean, they're all within
Yeah, but
20
who
miles or so.
who does not adore the Village Cup though?
People who live in cities, I don't know.
They're just jealous.
Jealous. I genuinely am jealous of, like, see when you go like down south, right, and there are the proper like village green grounds.
Yeah.
I'd love once even just to play on one of them.
Yeah.
So if there's anyone who is from a village club down south who plays on a village green, and you need 2 players one weekend, and those 2 players call off, then you can ask us.
I mean, I just think that we should go on tour.
On tour, lads on tour.
Lads on tour.
Boys.
Village Green tour.
Village Green tour.
Yeah. Anyway, right.
That's a bit
we kind of
village, that.
digress a little bit. We
That's
will
all right.
we
It's
will
our
include
It's our
Village-
podcast,
yeah.
and we'll let it do what we want.
We will include Village Cup performances in our Team of the Week considerations.
Right.
When it's,
Thank
when
God
it's being
there's not
played.
the Scottish Smalls Club Cup anymore, because that would be another competition, and that would just
Be fine.
be depressing.
Anyway.
I have a life, Andrew. I don't know doing what, but apparently I do. Right.
So we'll bring the Team of the Week up.
Let's
will
bring
we?
it up.
Let's
Let's
do it.
bring it up.
So this is our Team of the Week for you lucky viewers on YouTube that can see it. There it is.
Oh, now I made this graphic, so I need to add something into my title. I'm not just the main host now. The host
graphic designer.
and graphic designer now.
Yeah.
So for those who aren't watching on YouTube, you can't see the graphic, so we better read it out. Andrew, I do far too much talking on this podcast. Are you gonna?
Am I going to
take
read
the
it out
honours?
with why they're there? So Craig Wallace to start for Forfarshire for his 56 of 38 balls against Stonywood Dice. Kenny Reid of Aberdeenshire, and you will hear from Kenny later in the episode as well. We've got an interview with him coming up. He scored an unbeaten 65 of 32 balls against Kinloch as they successfully chased down a total of 102 in less than 10 overs. Alan Neve of Meagle with an unbeaten 149 off 95 balls against Dundee High at Dalnacraig.
That is impressive.
That is, to score sort of a run and a half a ball for that many balls at Dalnacraig.
I mean, scoring 10 at Dalnacraig is like a 50. So
It is, yeah. So that's like 1,000.
Aye. I'm assuming they'd actually maybe roll. That's it. Maybe they just roll it at the start of the season, and it just goes downhill because they don't do it again.
Maybe. And then Alan's teammate, who he put on a massive partnership with, Raju Gayashin, he scored an undefeated 105 off 58 balls, so an even higher strike rate.
He was going, Alan, keep up, come on.
Yeah. And then we have got Himanshu Saraswat. What club does he play for again?
Gordonians.
Gordonians, yep, I've got that in my note. He scored 90 off 96. And then we've got Haseb Kiani of Strathmore. Now, this was a Challenge Cup performance. So he scored 81 not out from 97. He also took 1 for 18 with the ball. But the 81 not out was mighty impressive because only one other member of his team got into double figures, and he saw the side home on the penultimate ball of the innings.
Yeah, sounded like a good game, but yeah. Good innings.
Down at Kilmarnock in the Challenge Cup on Sunday.
Yep.
And then Prashant Wig, again of Gordonians, he scored 67 not out off of 55. Charles Cassell of Falkland took 3 for 32 on their return to the Eastern Premier League.
Yeah, against Carlton, yep.
Yep, so against strong opposition, did really good figures. Dion Forrester of Aberdeenshire, setting up that chase that we mentioned Kenny Reid's part in. He took 5 for 17 against Kinloch on his Aberdeenshire debut. So really impressive figures there. Lewis James at Forfarshire, 4 for 22 against Stonywood Dice. Again, really sort of impressive figures from him. And then the 11th member of the team, Liam Sweeney of Strathmore. 2 for 11, which maybe doesn't stand out in terms of the number of wickets, but but that was an 8-over spell. So 2 wickets and only 11 runs conceded off 8 overs.
Tight.
Is very, very tight. So, yeah, that is our first Team of the Week.
Yeah. So obviously, for anyone listening or watching, let us know if you disagree with the team we've come up with. Have we made an omission who you feel should be in there? let us know. Obviously, either in the comments below or on Twitter at DibDobPod. We might even tweet the graphic out so people can see it.
We absolutely will tweet that graphic out.
So people can obviously let us know on that. There was some other good performances. I think one of the things with it was a lot of big scores, given it was a wet weekend.
Not even that there was a lot of big scores. It's you look at the number of balls taken. There are only 2 of the innings that are less than a run a ball.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of high-paced innings, which, as you said, with the way the weather was all over the weekend, it was not a weekend for batting.
Yeah.
So some really impressive innings there.
No, absolutely. And obviously we did have the change. 2 of our bowlers coming from the EPL, but they were now bowling with a pink ball.
Indeed, yeah.
Especially for Lewis James, who was bowling later on in the innings as well.
Yeah.
It's not even like he's got a nice shiny red ball with the cloud cover, and it would have been hooping around. So good effort as well there. So we've done our team of the week, but we're going to move on to the standout performance of the week.
Player of the week. And I suppose we had a couple of sort of performances under consideration for player of the week. Kind of gave them down to 2. And those 2 were Alan Neve for Meagle, that 149 not out that we mentioned.
Yep.
Or Hasib Kiani for Strathmore in that match-winning 81 not out.
Yep, absolutely.
And I think that for us was the bit that sealed it. I think pretty much any other week of the season, if Alan Neve plays that sort of innings, he's going to be the player of the week. Yeah,
I think the fact that he took them over the line, and as you mentioned earlier, no one else got, one other player got 24 and no one else got over double figures. I mean, it was kind of a one-man effort to get them over the line, and he bowled well as well. He took 1 for 18. And I think Alan probably partly lost out because Raju scored a ton at almost to a ball. And that probably detracted a bit. But I think thoroughly deserved.
Are we going to send him a certificate or something?
Going to send him a certificate.
Get your laminator
We'll need to do that. That's a player of the week. We'll have to have a tally and then player of the season at the end of the year or something.
Yeah, I think absolutely. That's a very good shout. But, I mean, we'll get to week 18 and there'll be 18 different player of the weeks.
Well, then we'll be greeting. I was going to say toss a coin. Don't know how you toss a coin 18 ways, but...
Yeah. So, Hasib Kiani of Strathmore, we reckon he is our player of the week for week 1.
The Dibbly Dobbler player of the week.
Yeah. Indeed.
The inaugural.
Dibbly Dobblers
player of the week.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get many bigger honours than that, really.
I know. That's huge.
I mean,
absolutely huge.
On a week where they robbed W.G. Grace of some of his first-class runs, we've just, we've made the world right by...
I missed that story, I have to say.
Oh, yeah, they like this... Wisden have decided, 6 of his games or something...
no longer have status.
Don't have first-class status. So the problem is there's, some cricket memorabilia collectors and stuff who have got, a match program from when he passed. I think it was 10,000 runs or 1,000 wickets or whatever. And the problem is it's now not that game. So, so fuming.
Yeah.
There's anoraks around the country, absolutely fuming.
Anyway, so as I mentioned during our wee Team of the Week chat there, we have got an interview on this podcast, and that is with Aberdeenshire captain Kenny Reid. And so we're going to pass you over to that now. So we are delighted to be joined by Aberdeenshire captain Kenny Reid. Kenny, thank you for joining us. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. It's a pleasure to be on the podcast, and hopefully all your listeners enjoy this episode as well.
Watchers as well, Kenny, so they get to see your charming smile.
Well.
Yeah.
Oh, well. I would have done my hair if I knew that.
So I think you're our furthest north person we've had on the podcast so far. So I suppose being from Aberdeen, you're probably used to being the furthest north for things. So.
Barry was in a hotel in Inverness when we recorded with him, so it's a close call.
All right, okay.
The furthest north club.
Inverness is further north, but probably from the furthest north club, and I guess we're used to that. We're being in cricket in Scotland. There is obviously clubs above us in north, but not at the top level of Scottish cricket. So,
back when I was umpiring, I used to get put up at Aberdeen all the time, and I'm like, oh Jesus, that's another 2 hour each way. That's great. So,
just think of expenses, Callum.
Oh, I did. Well, that's the only reason my wife let me go. So. I don't think your treasurers were ever very impressed with them, though.
No.
But so you're down, obviously. How did that, you guys, Aberdeenshire, massive club in Scottish cricket historically, and I mean, I think you're still a very big club, but you're plying your trade currently in the North East Championship, maybe down one level from where you're used to being. So I suppose, how are you guys as a club? I think there's been a bit of transition in the club and things like that. I mean, how are things going, driving things forward?
Yeah, so we kind of lost a lot of bodies all at the one time, and it culminated, I guess, in 2019 when we got relegated from the EPL. The majority of that squad that we played with in 2019 was quite young, and they weren't quite ready to play at that level and to win games, especially close games. So when it got tough, we found ourselves on the wrong side of things, and it was a tough year, but tough season. And then obviously COVID's hit, and the oil price in Aberdeen kind of dropped as well. So we've lost bodies from the area in terms of cricket, but a lot of the young boys that we had in 2019 are still around, and obviously they're a few years older now. So hopefully they're wiser and better for it, and a bit more streetwise when it comes to tighter games. And we're hopeful that the progression and development that they've had over the last couple of years behind closed doors in 2020 with COVID, and then last year back in competitive cricket, and then hopefully that'll stand them in good stead for this year. I think last year we finished, I can't remember if it was 4th or 5th, but we lost 4 league games against Falkland and Frukies 2, I think it was, who were at the top of the league. So we weren't that far away. And there was a couple of games in there that realistically we should have found a way to win, chasing 130, and we've not managed it twice. I think once was against you, Callum, at Ducat, and one was up at Huntly. So it's finding ways to win games of cricket, and hopefully that another year older, the young guys will step up a little bit and be a bit more harder with it, and know when to play shots and when to knuckle down and just find a way.
Yeah, I think we were sort of actually discussing this before we kind of came on air on here. I think that's it. Yeah, it was 5th you guys were last year. It was a pretty strong league, especially at the top. It's not always, actually, I don't think that close in the NEC. It's quite often a runaway or two. So it was, I think, a tough year. But yeah, you kind of had a couple of bad days at the office. And actually, aside from that, as you say, Falkland and Fruki, and I mean, they were both excellent last year. So it's encouraging signs. And I'd say another year older for everybody. So I think you definitely didn't disgrace yourselves by any means. And how do you guys find it, just out of interest, with the league, with obviously this year the NEC split conferences and things like that? Is that you're only facing Huntly?
Yeah, we voted.
Year?
So
two games.
We voted to play each team twice. I think obviously the majority of it voted for the split, but it's, I don't know, it's one of these things you've got to just try and get on with. But we would have preferred to try and even it out and to make sure that you had the opportunity at least to play each team twice. And I don't know if there's one side of the draw that's stronger than the other or whatever, but it would just make it fairer, I think, in a league sense, that you try to play each other twice. And I think it was going to be 6 more games, I think, but I think each team's got a free week, and the proposal was that you would play a few on a Sunday. So if you added one on at the end as well, then you're only talking maybe 1 or 2, 1 week maybe extra in the end, and play a few Sundays to finish a league, especially if they're keeping it at 12 teams. But it is what it is. The majority of the league voted for the split, so we just get on and do what we can, play who we're supposed to play, and hopefully do as well as we can and win more games than we lose. I think it's the plan.
It'll certainly be interesting towards the back end of the season if one of the groups, if one of the regions does turn out to be significantly stronger, and so you've got one team from the weaker region in contention, all of a sudden they've got a massive advantage in the sort of remaining fixtures. But yeah, you can only play the games that are in front of you and see how it plays out, I guess. And I guess you got off to a very strong start this weekend. So there wasn't that many games completed across Scotland. I think most seem to at least get started, but there wasn't very many games completed across Scotland. So you won the toss, and a fairly straightforward decision for you.
Yeah, I think we were talking before. We obviously knew the forecast was for rain around 4 or 5 o'clock, and we thought that if there was any chance of forcing a result on Saturday, it was going to be that we bowled first and hope to bowl them out and then chase it down quickly. So luckily the coin fell in our favour. We decided to put them in, and we bowled and fielded pretty well and managed to restrict them to 102 off 29 overs. I think once the first couple of wickets fell, our overseas amateur said, let's try and bowl them out for 100 in under 30 overs. So they were just over the 100, but just under the 30 overs. So it was pretty close.
Time was almost as important as the total, I suppose, in many regards on Saturday.
Yeah. We didn't want to try and take too much time out of the game. We set some pretty aggressive fields, and things went our way and managed to take the 10 wickets. And then when it came to batting, we knew we needed to be positive, and we got a few overs in and then felt a few specks of rain, and it was time to put the foot down a little bit. So
it looked like you were blocking it by the scorecard. Yeah.
So a 32 ball undefeated 65 for you. So I guess you were seeing it fairly well.
Yeah, I was seeing it pretty well. I'm a little bit disappointed there was 8 dots in there, but we'll work on strike rotation, I guess, this week. But,
well, there's worse things to be disappointed in, I suppose, at least. I mean, I suppose we talked about you playing certain teams twice. For yourself personally, you'll probably be quite glad of playing Kinloch twice, because you finished off last season with 185 against them, and you started out excellently again. So, I mean, it's clearly Kinloch's the team you want to play.
Yeah, if we could play them every week, it would be good, I think.
Are you chanting that? Were you?
I was thinking it while batting on Saturday, but I think I've only ever played Kinloch 3 times. Twice was last year and once on Saturday, and I've gone 35 not out, 185 and 65 not out. So a decent record against them, I think. So I think they'll be sick of the sight of me. I think they'll be looking forward to bowling at someone else next week.
Excellent.
But, yeah. We just see what happens this week against Huntly, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, so just, I guess, game at a time, but obviously you want to try and keep the momentum and find yourself up at the right end come the back end of the season.
I suspect you'll not quite have the same batting track.
Definitely.
Huntly as you find yourself at Manifield, I suppose, will be the one thing.
Yeah. I'm not sure it will be the same, to be honest. We'll see what we turn up to on Saturday. We went up there last year, and second ball the game went through the top, and there was a big dust bowl of so it's not renowned for being too dry, but you never know what you're going to get up at Huntly, I think.
Yeah.
So
I have to say on that sort of point, I love your groundsman's Twitter account. That's brilliant. It's man versus grass. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. He put some pictures on today, I think, of the square that he'd lined up. So
yeah, he was saying he doesn't want to let you play on it.
No. And that's just a typical groundsman, though.
I think it is, yeah.
They all turn a bit grumpy about people playing on their grass. But...
yeah.
Spots. Was he out there? He was like, "Get off my pitch! Come on, it's raining. Get off!"
Standing next to his covers.
Sitting in the gator, plugged into the covers already, and waiting to pull them down the hill. But we managed to get the game finished.
So for the season ahead, obviously you've spoken about some younger guys coming through and things like that. So have you got any, people who are listening sort of particularly in the region is kind of where we're targeting? Have you got anyone in your side that you're maybe, backing to step up a level this year and be a big performer for you guys?
I guess the names that would come to thought straight away would be Ayush Dasmahapatra, who was in the Scotland under-19 squad that went to West Indies over the winter. Yeah. Opening batter for us and leg spinner. So hopefully he can be a big player for us. He's quality. He's developed a lot again over the winter, training down in Edinburgh with the under-19s and with the Scotland guys. He's come on a lot over the winter from when he left us at the end of last season, and because he's down at uni in Edinburgh now, so
right.
He's got more opportunity to train down there with the Scotland guys. And then we've got Joseph Horn, who's going to bat 3 for most of the season probably, who's also involved with Scotland squads. I think he's in the 19s training squad now for the next group that go to World Cup qualification.
Right.
And then there's Lewis Monroe, he's been playing first team cricket for us for ages, but he's still only just 20. So I think he's been in the team since he's 15. He's opened the bowling, and he'll be a destructive batter when he gets himself in. So those would be the 3 that would be looking to. And then we've obviously got an overseas amateur as well, who's come across from Pretoria in South Africa.
This looks like you've got, healthy things coming forward at the club, and yeah, I suppose the good thing is it offers having another year in the NEC maybe gives these younger lads just that extra. I'm sure you guys will be striving to try and get back up to the EPL, but gives them that bit extra time to, be a leading cricketer rather than necessarily struggling it out in the EPL, even though there's still lessons to be learnt. But you need to learn how to score big runs and take 5 wickets and that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think I've touched on it before. The young guys weren't ready to play EPL cricket before, and it's about developing them and making sure that if and when we do go back up, that those guys are ready and can perform and are confident enough to back themselves to go and perform at that level. I think confidence is a big thing.
Yep.
And a lot of them need big runs and seasons with lots of wickets behind them to feel that they'll be good enough to go and play that level. So hopefully this year we'll have big things from those three, and then we've got a few other juniors that are floating around as well, that are on the cusp of maybe playing first team cricket, but we would like to see them develop, play second team and score some runs there, and then make sure that they're ready to step up to first team level before then developing them to be ready to play EPL cricket. So we've got guys that are making competition for places, which is a thing that we've maybe not had for a few years, with guys not maybe wanting to play first team cricket and travel to Edinburgh week in, week out. But we've got a good group of young players that want to play first team cricket now. So it's about maximising the potential out of them and making sure that they're ready to, first of all, play first team cricket at NEC level, and making sure that they get the opportunities to develop to make sure that they're ready to play EPL cricket if and when we do go up.
Oh, that sounds good. Competition's excellent. That's what you want, and big runs. Because I think, to be fair, we've seen some young cricketers that we've experienced over the years who are maybe promoted too early, and they don't know how to score these runs. So I think that's excellent, and the fact you've got other teams to be able to develop them through. So obviously that's kind of on the men's side of things, of what's going on at Aberdeen, and sounds like there's exciting things, and I'm sure we'll see you up at the top part of the table again this year. But I understand as well, at Aberdeenshire, it's not Aberdeenshire, is it the Northern
Lights women, you said, wasn't it?
Yeah. Northern Lights women, yeah. So the plan was to just try and introduce a women's section of training, and maybe going to the wee bash festivals and playing a few games of that nature. And then we've had a generous sponsor through Cala Homes back us to try and develop that. But things grew legs pretty quickly, thanks to the hard work of Bob Buchan, who's worked tirelessly to organise it all. But we're now in a position straight away, first year of this 3-year plan, to have a women's team in the National League. So we're going to have a team from north of Edinburgh being represented in the Women's National League, and we've got, whereas players were from travelling down to play for the Edinburgh clubs, we're now going to be a hub. So there's players coming up from Forth and Arbroath, and maybe down from Huntly and Fraserburgh. I think there's a few women coming from to play under the umbrella of Northern Lights. And part of the name of the Northern Lights was to make sure that people knew that it wasn't just Aberdeenshire then, and we were inviting people from around the northeast of Scotland to come and play. But yeah, it's exciting times, and we've seen the development of women's cricket, and we wanted to be part of it. And the first year was, like I said, just to try and have training sessions and a few small softball games, and but the interest's been there, and we've managed to get a team into the league. So I think the first game's a few weeks' time for them. So exciting times. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really think it's the right way to go about it. Certainly, initially, you've seen was it Grange and Watsonians that split a team last year, and the clubs in Dumfries and Galloway have come together to pull a team together. So I certainly think going wider rather than just one club is definitely the way to get things off the ground, certainly when it comes to a National League team. So it's brilliant to see you going down that path, and we hope it all goes really well.
Yeah, no, it's excellent to hear.
Yeah, it's good. And I was speaking to Bob earlier, and we've also got a group of girls that come on a Wednesday night and to do softball training. So we've got, in our juniors, we've got softball for boys, but also a separate group for the girls. That although it's at the same time, they're separate with the plan that they would then develop through hardball and then develop into the Northern Lights senior team, I guess, is the way forward. So we've got groups from young age, and hopefully we'll develop them through and start developing our own players, as well as inviting those in from elsewhere around about that want to come and play at Mannifield for the Northern Lights.
Yeah,
it's not a bad place to play cricket either if you're just starting out. So
yeah, I think it's really good as well for those young girls that they're able to see that pathway exists as well. So they might be starting out as it's sort of as young as 5, I guess, but they can see already at that point that there is a pathway to play at the sort of top level within the Scottish women's game at the club, which is great for them.
Yeah, definitely. And that pathway, it's not just for women to see as well. It's good for boys and men to see a pathway as well. There's nothing worse than coming along to training and not knowing, like what the levels of competition could be for you. So I think we're pretty open, and I think we were working on something to go on the website, but having a pathway for both women and boys to work through and see where, if they work hard, where they could get to in terms of playing for the club regionally and potentially for national team level as well. Then seeing that pathway can only but help folk or people develop and want to improve.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Aberdeen's an area that's produced a lot of, through yourselves and Lights of Stoneywood Dice have produced a lot of international cricketers. And, you already mentioned that some of your younger guys are back in the Scotland under-19s and things like that. And that can only help as well for aspiring young kids. If they see that someone a couple of years ahead of them has worked hard and got into these and got into your first team, it's excellent, whether male or female, as you say.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's all about having those role models and aspirations and knowing how you can get there and show an example to the younger ones that hard work can get you somewhere. So it's something we're proud of with the group that we've got at the moment, that they take younger guys on under the wing and just try and work with them as much as they can. So we're working well as a club and as a group of players to try and develop both our young male and female players to be the best that they can be. Fantastic. And I think the youngest group that we start at are the All-Stars, and I think we've got 50 signed up to be part of our All-Stars.
It's impressive numbers. Yeah.
Starting next week as well, and I think we've capped it at 60, so there's still a few spaces left, but I think we're at 50. So
you're glad you don't have 50, Andrew.
Yes, I'm the All-Stars activator at Ducat. I think I'd crawl into a corner and cry if I had 50 of them. But no, there'll be clubs across the country envious of numbers like that. It's fantastic.
Yeah, so there's a lot of hard work to regenerate the club, or to make the club work a bit better in terms of developing our own players and getting us back to where we believe Aberdeenshire should be. So we're not anywhere close yet, and there's still a lot of hard work to go, but we're definitely on the right pathway.
It sounds like you're planting, you're putting in place solid foundations though as well, which is really good, because I think that there have been certain clubs in the country that have sort of just tried to jump from quite low down just to jump right up, and it just has fallen apart and things. And I think, it's good to see that you're not doing that. You're getting the solid foundations, and That's how you last at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. And if we can, out of those 50 All-Stars that are signed up, if we can get 10% of them playing senior cricket down the line, then I think that's 5. And then if we do the same next year, it's another 5 playing senior cricket, and it's part of that development of you're not expecting 50 guys or 50 of the All-Stars to keep with it and stay and come 10 years down the line all want to be playing first team cricket or senior cricket. But if you can work on the basis that maybe get 5 to 10% every year of the sign-ups from that, then we'll be in a healthy place in a few years' time, hopefully.
Definitely.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, all sounds very promising. So, yeah, I think that kind of brings us to a close. So, thank you once again, Kenny, for joining us. That's been a really good chat, and hopefully we'll get a chance to speak to you again later on in the season, and hopefully things go well for you. So, yeah, all the best for the season ahead, and thanks again for joining us.
Yeah, cheers, Kenny.
No, thanks for the invite, and hopefully the season goes well, and hopefully we can discuss success near the end of the season.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Cheers.
Indeed. Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Thanks again to Kenny for that. I thought that was very good.
Yeah, that was good. Good chatting to him.
Indeed.
I would like to say your welcome back invoice there. I thought you were trying to be like Chick Young or something. There was a lot of nasally going on there.
Chick Young here. Wow.
I'll just restart this recording now.
Nah, I'm gonna just roll with it. I'm going to own it, and we're gonna roll with it, and we are going to move in. We're gonna run a wee prediction league between us.
Should have maybe thought about this and got guests involved.
I did sort of think about
We
that.
need to have a guest each week, though.
We would.
We're not that organised.
Yeah. Next year.
Next year.
We're going to improve all the time. Yeah, we're going to have guests involved next time. Anyway, NEC we're going to predict the outcomes of the games in the NEC. So we've done that for this week.
We have.
And loads of variety.
I think the watchers, listeners, are very impressed. We clearly put some work into this.
We have,
episode.
actually, yeah. So
we've had a guest, graphics, all sorts.
Yeah.
I mean,
so fixtures in the NEC this week.
Fixtures in the NEC this week. Arbroath, second 11 versus Dundee High School.
Yep.
Meagle versus Forfarshire, second 11. Fruki versus Pertucket. Huntly versus Aberdeenshire. Kinloch versus Strathmore. And Gordonians versus Stonywood Dice, second 11. Obviously not put the second 11 up because we're only doing NEC, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So here are our predictions for those of you watching on YouTube. And as we said, loads of variety. So I've gone for Arbroath, and Callum's gone for Arbroath. And I've gone for Meagle, and then Fruki, and then Aberdeenshire, and Strathmore, and Gordonians. And so's Callum. So we thought, right, how do we make this interesting? Because there could be a few weeks like this during the season where we just go, yeah, I think the same as you. So we're going to have jokers. And
is that not me? Forever the joker.
Yeah. So we're going to get 1 point for every correct prediction, and if your joker wins, then you get 2 points. And we're going to flip a coin to see who decides.
Has that got?
So you can check the coin. You can check the coin. It's legit. It's a 2 pence piece because I'm cheap.
2 pence piece.
Yeah.
Magnets on the hands.
No magnets
No.
on the hands.
Right. Okay. I'll trust you.
You're going to call it?
Right. Tails.
It's tails. Oh, and it's landed heads. So I get to pick my joker first. And I'm going to go with Strathmore as my joker
You're going to
this
go
week.
with Strathmore.
I am. So if Strathmore win, I get 2 points. We can't pick the same joker, and we'll just alternate it from here on out as to who gets to pick the joker first. So Callum,
Right.
who's your joker?
I am going to go, just because I just think they're just going to stink all season, I'm going to go with Arbroath, because I think Dundee High I can genuinely see them potentially getting grannied. So I'm going with Arbroath
the
2s.
full season without a victory.
So I'm really hoping Arbroath ones are not missing a whole load of people this week. That's the one danger of picking a 2 side. But yeah, I'm going to go with that one. I mean, on the evidence of Meagle, I'm not sure the bowling attack's particularly strong. So
Yeah.
So yeah, that's who I'm going with.
So-
Arbroath.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were probably my other one I was toying with, but Strathmore had a good opening week. Kilmarnock not so much. So yeah, go with them. So we'll see how they go.
Kinloch v Strathmore at Strathmore.
Indeed, the Strathmore derby.
All the Straths.
Indeed.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Is there, obviously you've gone for Strathmore and we both predicted the same teams. Is there any that you're holding out any hope for we might be wrong on?
I think that Perth Ducat could upset Fruki potentially.
They do have a few characters on their team that, sometimes rub people up the wrong way. That's very true.
Oh dear, Callum. Oh dear. Huntly, Aberdeenshire maybe, but I think Aberdeenshire will still be too strong for Huntly.
I'd imagine so, as we touched on it with Kenny in the interview. And the one difficulty a little bit going up to Huntly is it's not always the easiest place to bat.
Yeah.
And I think whenever you start introducing a wicket like that, there is always a chance that, you could bowl somebody out. So yeah, I'd have probably gone. I think I'd have probably gone Huntly v Aberdeenshire as the one that maybe I could see the most likely, and as much as I say down to the pitch and conditions as anything else. But yeah, I think it's probably going to be 6 pretty one-sided affairs here.
Yeah, probably. Right.
This is when we both score no points next week, and we're like, wow, we're good at this.
I mean, that's generally how predictions things go for me. That's why I don't gamble, because can't do it.
You'd be as well just putting a tenner in the bin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, set fire to it. Anyway, I think that brings us to the end of this.
Is that not illegal?
I don't know. Packed episode, as it was.
Packed?
It was a packed episode, pretty full of good stuff there, I think. Good stuff.
Stuff, certainly.
Blowing our own trumpet there.
And then there was your check out impression, but we're not going to.
Top tier podcasting, that. Top tier.
Absolutely.
Next level. That's the stuff that goes viral, mate. Anyway.
Two chubby cricket blokes doing Chick Young.
Yeah. Anyway, if you loved my Chick Young impression or didn't, then reach out to us on Twitter at DibDobPod.
And reach out to us, Team of the Week. Let us know.
Yeah,
do you think
Team
it
of
should
the
have been someone else? Predictions. What do you think? Do you think we've got something wrong on that as well?
Absolutely.
Or who would you have picked for your Joker? Let us know.
Yep. And like, share, subscribe, comment, all that sort of stuff. Hit the notification bell. That's one that these professional YouTubers seem to say, so that whenever we put up a video, you get told about it. So
some bloke comes in with a bell.
Yeah, yeah, and you've just to tick him. Away you go. But yes, it's all gone a bit haywire towards the end.
It always
of this
goes
one,
haywire at the end.
Anyway,
it's all good.
yeah. Thank you very much for watching, for listening, and we will speak to you again next week.
Bye, everyone.